Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Redmen TV and the Player Rankings Show, where we rank the Liverpool players from boss sound to your messing after we drew 2-2 with Manchester United in what was a bit of a wild and ultimately properly frustrating game, where Liverpool were miles off it, more or less throughout, apart from a 10-15 minute spell in the middle of the second half, where we actually came to the party for a little bit. It was poor. And more or less poor to a man, not up for the fight, losing second balls, losing duels. Yeah, not good. Not good at all. Anyway, this is the part where we talk about the players individually. And to begin with, we start, as we always do, with the goalkeeper. And in this instance, it is Alisson Becker. So if you haven't been here before, I pick up a face and you tell me in the chat where he should be. It could be boss sound or you're messing, but kind of whereabouts in them as well. High, low, straddling, all that sort of stuff. And we all get together and make a judgment. Dickie, I'm not going to bring that comment up, my mate, but all right. Diane says boss for Alisson. Low sound, a boss from Gino as well. Lots of sound, lots of sounds. Yeah. Okay, a couple of decent saves. Not sure he could do loads about the goals, or the second one just rolls in, doesn't it? Deals with that low near post effort from Bruno in a way, just about manages to get it behind. And they tested him in terms of like, because it was wet, the conditions weren't great for goalkeepers in terms of your handling. I thought he dealt with most of the corners quite well because they were right on top of him. I thought he punched clear nicely once or twice. Big save from Rasmus Højlund in the first half as well. So, yeah, I'm edging towards sound, to be honest. PH has sound this as well. Yeah, I think a low sound sort of sound for Alisson Becker. I seen somebody a moment ago making the point that we've suddenly started conceding goals against. And it's actually something I said right at the start of the day. In terms of all of a sudden, since Alisson came back in and Kelleher left, it's coincided with us not being anywhere near as watertight at the back. I don't really blame Alisson for it. I just think it's kind of how the games have panned out a little bit. But yeah, this a little bit too. He doesn't quite look as unbeatable at the minute, which is disappointing. And again, I don't blame him for either goal today, but just want to see him getting more clean sheets ultimately. And it's a team, it's a collective that in terms of the defence in front of him, even the midfield department comes into this too. So yeah, I put it off long enough, by which I mean he's literally the second player I've picked up. We did loads of Trent chat in the previous show. I know all of you might have watched it, seen it, heard it, whatever. Do go back and do that if you haven't, if you really want to hear me talk about Trent. Free Django says, Dan, I've watched this show over 100 times. This is the worst performance I've seen in Liverpool shirt in my lifetime. Genuinely sub-quant after 10 minutes, but not Trent. Bobby says 2 points dropped. Trent wants to leave. Yeah, okay. Low, you're messing. Frisbee that card as far as you can in the direction of Madrid. And I'm going to level with you. I'm terrible with my centre directions. And I don't know which way my house is from where I'm stood right now, let alone Madrid. And I'm not going to frisbee it because there's quite a lot of expensive stuff in here. I'm all for some frivolity and throwing stuff around, but not here. But I take your point. And if I had it my way, if this was a wide open space and I had this in my hand, this would have gone so far at certain points during that game. Certainly the second half, because I was done with Trent Alexander-Arnold at times today. And I said it a minute ago, I think he's a wonderful footballer. I do. I can't deny that. Just so gifted, so brilliant, and so important to what we've done. But today was the opposite of all of those things. Below, you're messing. Not on the board. You're messing. Should not even be on the board. Mentally, you're messing. Mess in. Downstairs. We are downstairs, actually. It would be underground if that was possible. Today, it was below you're messing. Okay. Do you agree that Trent single-handedly lost us that game? I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think we're very good, full stop. But listen, I make him the worst of a bad bunch. And there's one or two shining lights, which we'll talk about in a minute. There are one or two that I give pass marks for today. But Trent is not one of them. And I reckon if Virgil van Dijk was doing this, which would be a wild world that we live in. I think he probably would frisbee him around the room, actually. It looked like he wanted to volley him around Anfield at times today. So that's anyone who's watched this before and knows me personally in a work capacity, whatever, will know that is not something I like doing at all. But needs must. Because my God. Yeah, Ibrahima Konate. Can you see him? I can't see the screen. Let me know if you can see him. And let me know if it needs to be lower. Because, again, I'm probably going to have to with you. He did look ready to knock him out, didn't he? He really did. Ibu looked rusty, strong. Listen, what I will say about Ibu, I think we have to temper or caveat all of our thoughts around his performance today for two reasons. A, because it was first one back for like 6, 7, 8 weeks, whatever it's been. And B, because of the amount of work he had to put in and the shift he had to put in to try and cover for some of Trent's liability defending at times. Because he was out of position, he was sloppy, and Ibu had to work his socks off just to try and make that right-hand side seem ever so slightly secure. Yeah, bleak. And I'll be honest, by the end of the game, he looked done, like absolutely done in terms of his own fitness, which is no surprise at all. And don't be shocked if he sits out in midweek because of that, because I think that might have been fast-forwarded, that 90-odd minutes he just played there, and it might have felt more like 190 minutes to him as well. Anyway, let's put him in. I'm going to go low sound. I've seen somebody just said low sound there. Dominic, I tend to agree. I'm happy with that. Yeah, Konate's good. Thank you. Yeah, okay. Yeah, rough first game back. Yeah, that's kind of my take on it as well. He'll have better games. He absolutely will. I nearly picked up Trent then, thinking he was still part of the masses. But it turns out that's just where he is. Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk. Kevin says Ali's a bit too high. There you go. What do we think of Virgil? Apart from the fact he's probably still trying to calm down. Do you reckon Slot does not rate Quansah? I don't know if it's that. I think he does. I think Konate on form. Konate might have turned up to training absolutely back on it immediately. I think Konate on form, I said it earlier on, probably the best defender in Europe when he got injured. So throwing him straight back in a game of this magnitude with Spurs and Accrington Stanley, 2 chances to play Quansah in the next 7 days, seems to make a lot of sense to me. Boss for Virgil. Boss, the only player on par tonight. Virgil was boss, as Craig. High boss. Virgil boss, yeah, high sound. Some of his positioning was really good, actually, in terms of defence, because he was having to deal with a lot of crosses. And there's one quite late on, I think it's Dallow down the right-hand side. It's actually another moment where he loses his shit with a certain Trent Alexander-Arnold. And he puts in a really good, slide, block, tackle. So yeah, I thought he had a really good game, actually. And Edward agrees with me too, which is nice. Let's pop him. Are we straddling with Virg? Are we fully in, boss? I think I'm straddling. I'll be honest. Tell me if I'm wrong. Yeah, he was not happy. He was a lot. He looked a lot of how I was feeling, to be honest. Let's put it that way, second half. And I don't get angry often. No, Dickie thinks he should be in boss, fully boss. Okay. Virgil to say Kevin said he's too high. Kevin, you said 2 people are too high now, mate. I think you're just angry. And I get it. I do get it. But I'm gonna go with the majority and pop him in there. But yeah. Andy Robbo, don't think I'll be popping him in boss after today. Listen, nowhere near as culpable for a lot of the negativity in terms of performance, I don't think, today, as the guy on the other side. However, having said that, literally the next 5 comments I've seen have all said you're messing. It just feels like there was nowhere near as much to do. He wasn't as busy. There was nowhere near as much traffic. So I struggle to sort of have him in the same bracket as Trent, personally. I don't think he was as wasteful in possession either. Sarah wants Virgil higher. There you go. But yeah, I think, yeah, largely absent, borderline you're messing, low sound. Yeah, I'm a border guy in this, I'll be honest. I'm a border. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go with this. I think that, personally. Do you know what's so baffling about this? We're top of the league, and we're 6 points clear, I think I might say, with a game in hand, so brilliant. But there are so many question marks around our squad still. It's mad. It's mad. It's right, and I'm fully on board, and I fully agree. But both fullbacks seem to be a serious thing, don't they? By thing, I mean problem. Ryan Gravenberch. Tsimikas needs to start. Yeah, maybe, man. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I agree with the Bradley point, though. Ryan Gravenberch. The footy showed glimpses, the footy showed flashes of what he's all about today. Carried it nicely. Had that shot in the first half that I mentioned a moment ago, which looked destined for the bottom corner for a minute. Yeah, I thought he was one of the few to come away with a pass mark today, to be fair. So I'm happy you all agree. And in terms of where that is, I don't think it was quite boss territory, personally. But I think a high sound, yeah, Sarah agrees as well. Matty does not, though, which is somewhat surprising. Holly's got him in boss. Low sound, okay sound, top sound. Yeah, I'm going to go with you and you, James. Some of his turns. There was one turn today that he made in the first half. The actual move didn't come to anything, so we couldn't clip it up and highlight it and show it on socials. But it would have been majestic. Charlotte, I'll take your point. But I can't see the screen, you see, so I don't know. I might need a bit more advice on that. Grav looked a bit leggy in the second half, making a few mistakes. Yeah, I think that game took a lot of them, to be honest with you. And he's one I am concerned about when it comes to minutes. But listen, got to keep playing. Maka Boss, knocking off Boss, man the match. Boss. We do man the match later on, but I tend to agree. Chloe will be on the pod. This week. She's back with us tomorrow. Maka Boss, what a player. Maybe just flip Trent's card upside down. Yeah. Boss and a man the match candidate. Yeah, Boss. Yeah, absolutely. I'm going to stop beating around the bush. I'm going to put him there. I've said it a few times already, there's only a few that come out of today with any sort of ability to hold their head high, and I think Mac Allister was probably chief amongst them. I thought he was exceptional. From minute 1 to minute 90 odd as well, really. He was the one who really carried the fight and looked like actually upset at how poorly we're playing and took a bit of responsibility for that and tried to inject some life into us somehow. But yeah. And he actually could have scored. We're probably, other than Gakpo's goal, was probably the standout bit of football from Liverpool in the entirety of the football match. When Salah just dinked the ball over the top and he was that third man running into midfield and the volley, yeah, it would have been a lovely goal. But anyway, yeah, absolutely that point. The amount of 50-50s that we lost and duels and second balls, it was just lamentable. Jones, you're messing Jones. Jones, high messing, straddling sound and you're messing. Konate should be high, he's playing for two people. Yeah, it's probably a fair assessment. Trent's performance overshadowed how bad Jones was today. 100% you're messing. Shite today. Low sound, you're messing. Completely invisible, forgot he was playing. Yeah, listen, all of those points are valid ones, and I'm not disagreeing with any of them. That is probably the word I'd use, though, to be honest. Ineffective. Just never really got into the game in any way. And it's annoying because he can do both sides of the game. He can do the dirty work and win your duels and get you going. And he can also show that technical quality and play football with you. Didn't do either. Disappointing. Proper disappointing. So, yeah. Are we straddling? Are we fully in? Oh, God, I hate being negative, but it's hard not to be. Yeah, it's probably a fair point, mate. But don't spoil the fun. Don't shoot your load too early. Can we rate the weather? Yeah, we can. Wet, cold. I've got to drive home in it yet, so don't remind me. Mo Salah next. Scored his pen. Where was Sobo today? Ill, and hopefully not ill for long. Probably missed a bit of Dom Sabazlai, didn't we? Yeah, what do you think of Salah? Scored, obviously. Penalty. Not the most convincing penalty I've ever seen. I'll be honest, I thought Onana had saved it when he heard the sound of hands. Well, I seen him go the right way, and it wasn't in the corner. It was quite a savable height. And then he got a touch on it. Yeah, I did not see that going in. But thankfully it did. Again, couple of moments of quality that he got absolutely... what's the words? Manhandled by Diogo Dalot when he'd spun him and he'd left him for dead. He absolutely pinned him and done him and he was away, and then Dalot just hung on for dear life. So there were moments of Salah being Salah and causing problems, but I think in terms of finishing, left a lot to be desired. Very, very wayward, very, very wasteful in that sense with the 2 or 3 chances he did have in open play. So yeah, good without being spectacular, and frustrating because although for a while it looked like he'd scored the winner from the penalty spot, that is the sort of game where you want someone like Salah to come to the fore and grab it by the scruff of the neck and go, everyone fucking chill out, I'll win this. Didn't happen, but still, I thought he was okay. Therefore, he's going there. Cody Gakpo? Cody Gakpo. Listen, for my money, the only true moment of sheer class from Liverpool today, and defining in that it got us in the game. It sparked some life into us finally. For the first time in like an hour or whatever it had been, we actually came alive for a bit, and it was all thanks to Cody Gakpo. Brilliant goal, brilliant goal. Left the lit, sent in for the echo, and then just absolutely hammered it into top bins. Quality. Faded a little bit after that and then got taken off. I think he was going to get taken off before he scored, actually. But yeah, I thought just what we needed, ultimately. And we don't win the game, but we were so lacklustre and so in need of someone to produce something. And he was the guy. So yeah, topper sounds, people saying boss, more sounds, low boss, influential, high sounds, super boss, Gakpo is on fire. Yeah, and again, listen, I don't think he was particularly brilliant throughout. I think that was Mac Allister. But again, in terms of somebody seizing a moment and actually producing something at the top drawer, he was your guy. Okay, let's go Gakpo. I'm going to go Gakpo there. I think he probably was just better. Yeah, he does. A bit like me, to be honest with you. Luis Diaz. And I'm a big old unit. Luis Diaz. Disappointed with Diaz today. I'll be honest, going into the game, I was really happy with the selection of front three. Because it's worked really well. It's got great chemistry. It's got great fluidity. And yeah, all of the stuff that he's been really good at in terms of dragging defenders away and actually being influential and being involved in stuff, that second bit never really happened at all, which is disappointing, really disappointing. Because I thought he was going to have a big game, another big game, in a big game. But it never, ever, ever looked like materialising. Low sound, lots of people saying low sound. Ghosted, says, tries to walk the ball in. Yeah, he's a dribbler. Couple of messings as well for Diaz. Gakpo should be on the same level as Virgil. Diaz invisible. I'm going to come back to that one. Where's Gakpo? Oh, quite high then. Okay, I'm not against that. Everyone here knows I love Cody Gakpo, so raising him up will never be a problem in my eyes. Marked out the game, can hold his head high. He always works hard. That's an absolute base layer for Luis Diaz, which will always get him a decent sort of pass mark for me in terms of his performance. But yeah, I felt like we missed a number 9 for the first time today with Diaz doing that makeshift, non-conventional 9 stuff. Today was the first time I think we actually were crying out for somebody just to be a number 9 for a little bit. Anyway, let's pop in there, straddling, and let's do some subs, shall we? As ever, I'll grab all the subs quickly, and I'll do them in an order that appears to make some sense. And I think that's that. Who else came on? Was it just them 4? Let me double check myself. Did we make the 5th sub in the end? Someone in the chat, tell me, please. While you tell me that information, I'll start naming them and we'll go through them. Let's do Diogo Jota first. What do we think of Diogo? I thought it was okay, actually, to be honest. I did. Never ever came to anything. Yeah, it was 4, wasn't it? I thought it was. Never came to anything, but I thought he was sound when he came on, to be fair. And I must admit, when it was 2-2 going into the dire moments, if that chance to fall to Harry Maguire falls to Diogo Jota, you can imagine what the result would have been. And I was just praying for something to drop into him in the 18-yard box, because that's when you know Jota comes to life. And he didn't have one effort saved by Onana, but it was straight at him, really. Would have liked him to have done better with that. But yeah, he did have a bit of a kick-off as well, didn't he? I think Darwin Núñez had to calm him down at one point, which says a lot. Let's go sound for Diogo. Harvey Elliott next. Let me just swap them 2 around quickly. There we go. Harvey Elliott. Another cameo for Harvey. Yeah, might be calls for him to start starting more games. I don't think he's had the same impact from the bench that he was having last season. He obviously hasn't, ultimately. But is he doing enough to start games of football is kind of the point. Because if Szoboszlai is fit, healthy, ready to go midweek, does he come back in I mean, there's a conversation about how strong you go full stop against Spurs, to be fair. But yeah, I think Harvey is sound today, but I don't know if he's quite affecting games in the same way when he comes on. But yeah, sound. Darwin Núñez, daft yellow card. Now suspended for Nottingham Forest as well, by the way. Picked up his 5th yellow card today, and it resets after today. Yeah, he was the guy that did calm down Diogo Jota, which is something. Yeah, sounds. Núñez messing. I thought it was okay. He ran down a couple of blind alleys, which really frustrated me. There was one, I think it must have been 2-2 at the time, it was quite late in the game, and he could have give it, and he decides to go alone and never really had a chance of getting through like the 4 Man United bodies that were ahead of him. So worked hard, unsettled the defence. Yeah, what he did do well, actually, he got the lip booked, and I don't mean that in like, oh, he got someone booked. I mean, he actually got us up the pitch because we were under the cosh a little bit, and I think he got away from one man, and then Delip brought him down to get us, like I say, get us out of touch. So yeah, let's go. A lot of people saying you're messing for Darwin. I don't agree. I'm going to straddle him just there, because yeah, I don't think he was that bad. Finally, Conor Bradley. A lot of Conor Bradley ratings and rankings could be skewed a little bit by what he came on for. However, having said that, I do think he was really good. Fundamentally, he's a very good up and down fullback. He does the basics really well in attack and in defence, and he did that pretty much in the moment he came on today. He won some duels, he won some battles, and he almost inexplicably from a mad angle got us a winner after going past his man. So yeah, it does sort of highlight and shine a light even more so on the performance that Trent put in. But in that 10-minute cameo, I think Conor Bradley put him to shame a little bit, to be honest. And again, I come back to the point on Conor, and sorry on Trent, in that there's clearly more at play here than just an off day, a bad day at the office, because his head looked in the bin to me at times today. And there's a lot going on between his ears, obviously, which needs addressing. I'm not sugarcoating or making excuses for it. It needs addressing. But yeah, Conor Bradley's performance, absolutely miles clear of anything Trent offered. Yeah, take care. High sound, lots of people saying boss. Lots of people saying boss. I love Bradley. Should have crossed it. Yeah, I think he got caught in two minds as to what he was trying to do there. Would have been interesting to see it had gone in, or if it was on target, of course. Anyway, I'm going to straddle him there because I thought he was quite good. One more rating to do before you all leave me. And then we got man of the match, which I've got here, so I'll get him quick. Arne Slot. I know Salah was fuming with Bradley, wasn't he? Yeah. What do you make of Arne today? Ian says, "Can we get you messing with Slot for playing ground passes in the middle of a winter storm?" Yeah. Sounds. Slot boss. I don't know if he's a boss today. Maybe. We weren't great. And we weren't exactly inspired in the second half either. It was actually Cody Gakpo that inspired us a little bit. Low sound. His subs, I don't know, maybe he could have made changes when it went to 2-1 to sort of shut up the game a little bit. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he had his greatest day, to be fair. Much like Liverpool generally. I think he was a little bit underwhelming. Let's go in there for Arne. Just about fits in there, I think. That's a bit low, maybe. Let's squeeze him in there. There we go. And finally, the foregone conclusion is man of the match. Should I just have it all done with and stick it next to Mac Allister so we can all go home, move on with our lives? Probably. Anyone's got any really strong feelings as to me not doing that? Speak up now. Love ever hold your peace. Absolutely nothing. Everyone seems quite happy with me to put Alexis Mac Allister as man of the match, which will absolutely do for me. Macca, easy. Yes, Macca. Gakpo man of the match, though. I don't hate it, but it's Mac Allister. Paolo says Macca. Holly Bob says Macca. Michaela says Macca. Yeah. Wonderful stuff. The only wonderful thing to come from today, actually, was the end of that show. And everybody agreed it was Alexis Mac Allister. Black Cavities, which is one hell of a name. Yeah, I would. I definitely would. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Yeah, massively appreciate you getting involved as ever for the entire day, and most definitely this bit, because this whole enterprise is nothing without you all. But certainly this bit is an absolute waste of everybody's time without you guys telling me what to do. So thank you. Listen, Liverpool was shite. And we can only get better, because that for me was probably the lowest performance of the season. So the only way is up, clearly, on that evidence. Let's hope that's the case, and let's hope that's the case on Wednesday night when we play against Spurs. Between now and then, we'll have podcast, deep dives, all the usual stuff you get from Redmen. So make sure you check it out on YouTube, Redmen Plus, wherever. We're all over the place, you know that. And yeah, thank you again. Massively appreciated. Liverpool 2, Manchester United 2. A bit crap, to be honest. But top of the league, 6 points clear. Could be worse. Could be Man United. See you later.